Welcome to A Scrap Life, a podcast solely focused on the hustlers, grinders, operators, and business owners who live and breathe the scrap metal industry every day. Here is your host, Brett Eckhart.
All right, here we go. Man, you just never know what you're going to run into here at Isery, and luckily we got a decent little podcast space and somebody who's nice enough to set this up. Thank you, Rob. But I get to sit down. I want to call you like one of the original sheer godfathers, Bruce Bacon and Sal from SAS Forks, which SAS Forks, I mean, it almost feels weird that you don't have some sort of sheer attachment underneath there, but
well, we'll talk.
Yeah,
we'll talk.
We'll
tell
talk
you what's
about
going
that.
on.
So that's why we're here, man.
Yeah.
We're here to talk.
Yeah, right
so
on.
Thanks, guys, man. Thanks for sitting down.
Oh,
and,
thanks for having us
and shooting the shit with me.
Yeah, thanks, Brett. Very cool.
So I don't know how many podcasts you guys done. Like, this is when I start to get really personal and ask you about the first girlfriend and how she compares to now. But anyway, so for those of you guys that don't know, give me a little bit of history, why you guys are sitting here today, where you're at. Like, give me a little background.
So we'll do that, Brett. And I don't think you can really talk about anything without knowing a little history, right?
Absolutely.
So I'm tell you, I'm an old storyteller. I'm just an old dude telling stories, right?
That's what makes it good.
Right on. That's what I love about the scrap industry. There's a lot of great stories.
There's a lot of good stories, and there's more good people.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
So I tried to retire and do a couple other things a couple of years ago, and ended up I'm like, I miss scrap.
Yeah.
You know, I really do, because I made so many friends and I just had a lot of great times in it. So I went to work for Royal LaBounty when he owned the company. He moved me down to Texas. I didn't know anything about the scrap industry. So the only thing I could figure out is I'd walk into the yard, look for the patriarch, and ask him for a favor.
Yeah.
Will you take me out into your yard and teach me how this scrap world works? And I made a lot of friends doing that, and I loved it. So anyway, the Roy sold the company. You know, LaBounty's, you know, the oldest name in the deal, but they were the only game in town. Things changed. Went over to Roy's house and asked for his blessing, a couple other guys and I, to start a competing company.
Yep.
And he gave us his blessing with a tear in his eye. Said, I'd join you if I could, boys.
Yeah, I got 5 years. I got everything.
Yeah, so exactly. So, you know, that goes. You see it going full circle with all kinds of families in this building,
yeah, exactly,
right?
Yeah.
So anyway,
you better make some hay in those 5 years.
Yeah.
The boys are coming back.
Yeah. So that was it. So we did Genesis. That was a great trip, great experience, and a wonderful company. And you know, my blood's still on the floor. I still love Genesis. Still love LaBounty.
Yeah.
And then we sold that stupidly. And then we did the Exodus machines, that crazy material handler thing.
Oh, yeah.
All that. And then that morphed through necessity into Fortress, Blade Core, then Connect Work Tools, Oil Cook USA, yada, yada. And then things, you know, you never know what's going to happen in life, right? All you can do is adjust to the changes that happen.
Absolutely.
And I would say, you know, life is just made up a bunch of chapters in a book.
Yes.
Some are good, some aren't.
Yeah. Well,
you just turn the page.
There's a lot of lessons
but
to
you
be
can
learned
learn, right?
through there, right? Yeah.
Right on. So anyway, then sat out for a little, did a couple other things, ended up with a guy named Bill Van Sant, and under the Tenemec, that's built right, you know, electric pedestal machines, grapples, etc., and SAS Forks. And I went over to do SAS Forks, and mandate was grow. Like, okay, been all over the world, made good friends in Europe, and I said the only way I know how to grow as fast as you want to grow is through heavy attachments, demolition, scrap, all that. So I had some good friends in Europe, family-owned companies, number 1 and 2 brands in Europe. So you guys want to come to America? I said, yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay. And we did this thing under SAS called Dark Horse Tools.
Okay.
So Dark Horse is a collection of the finest attachments from outside North America, put under this group, branded Dark Horse. You know, I love horse racing and the come from by. Yeah, we all love an underdog, right?
Absolutely.
Everybody in this room loves that.
Yeah.
So that's the premise of it.
Vegas takes a lot of people's money.
Oh yeah.
Betting on underdogs.
Oh, yeah, right
you know, but
yeah.
the ones that hit, that's why they pay so well.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You're right. You're right.
So that's what we did, and so we got a great lineup of heavy shears and other attachments and hydraulic hammers, etc., under this Dark Horse portfolio, and we're just coming to market now. And this is my first Isery in a while, and it is so frickin' fun. You know, to say people, including a couple that you mentioned earlier, Jay, and
100%.
You know, a lot of the people have been around it. I was fortunate. I've got the oldest sales team in the world. Nobody's under 60. They're like 63 to 72.
It's relationship driven, right? Like that's the beauty. I was telling this to somebody earlier, and we'll get into your story here in a second, Sal. But when you come to Isery, so my father-in-law, I mean, a gem of a guy, right? Like I got really lucky. I got a great wife, but I got even better in-laws, which is hard to come by sometimes, right?
That's great.
So
you're fortunate.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate. I'm very, very grateful for that. But my father-in-law played football at Utah State, and like years ago, a handful of years, 5, 6, 8 years ago, he got inducted to the Utah State Hall of Fame. He was a really good football player, and I loved watching him go back to the alumni game, like, and watching and to the homecoming, because I mean, not the alumni game, but the homecoming, because it was years and generations of guys that all had something in common, right? So maybe we didn't play at the same time,
right?
But we all had that thing that they all played
the connection.
Exactly. So when I think about Isery, it feels to me like a homecoming football game. You know, so maybe United played in 90 or 80 or 70, but we all bled the same color, right?
Been on the field.
It's the same. It's an industry.
You have a shared experience
of generations that you've been in yards, you've sold equipment, you've bought equipment, you had to come up from the bottom, or you built this and you sold that. And I think that's the beautiful thing that I love about this industry is it's like a big ass homecoming game.
Yeah.
Like this event is it's a homecoming. You see old friends, you meet new friends, you connect with people you might see once a year, once every other year.
Yeah.
And that's what it reminds me of.
Yeah, you're 100% right, Brad. And that's what it was like last night at the opening gala. So many people come in the booth, as you know, Sal, that hadn't seen for a long time. Lots of hugs, lots of laughs, and that shared common experience of being around the scrap industry. And everybody wants to be a part of something, a community.
Yes.
Like you were talking about your father-in-law.
Yeah, you want to be part of it's a tribe mentality.
Exactly. And you do get that here, and you don't get that in hardly any industries.
I feel
it doesn't work that way elsewhere.
I believe that to be true.
Right. Yeah, that's for sure.
All right, Sal. So give us
how far back do we want to go?
How far you want to go, man? I'll get the whiskey out if it gets too long. We'll finish this deal off. But go ahead.
I'll cut it short.
No, you're good.
No, but I tell you, like Bruce said, when you get into the industry, and you connect with the industry, then you're kind of like in.
Yeah.
Like it's like a family. It's like you're in, right?
Yeah.
So the funny story with me is, my life is a bunch of splits in the road. Like, do I go left? Do I go right?
Yeah.
And I remember quite a few of those choices. They've all led me here. But back in the day when I was finishing up school, my uncle was moving to Florida, down to Bonita Springs, and it was summertime, so he said, hey, can you help us move?
Yeah.
And I said, why not? Free ride, get down there, help them. So we got down there, and they had a beautiful home out there in Bonita Springs, and that was when there wasn't even any roads down there. I mean, he definitely had swampland, to buy.
Yeah.
And so I helped them get situated and all of that, and my aunt, my uncle's wife, she was in real estate.
Okay.
And she's like, Sal, I heard that, you're really not doing anything right now, and I was in engineering school, and I didn't have nothing going on. And she goes, why don't you stay down here, go to real estate school and sell real estate? And I'm looking around in Florida, I'm like, with all these trees, I'm like, what the? It's nothing to sell here, right? Boy, big mistake, right?
Yeah.
So I said, you know what? I said, okay. I go back to Ohio, because I had an apartment there, close it down, and I'll be back in 3 weeks, right? I'm going to do this real estate thing.
Yeah.
So I get back home, and back then you had an answering machine, the light was flashing. I don't know who the heck called me, right? So I get on there, and there's a company called NPK. They're a hammer company out of Ohio.
Okay.
They want an interview with me. And I'm like, do I do this interview or do I just race it and head down to Florida? So it got the better of me.
Okay.
And I
Curiosity killed the cat. Yeah.
did the interview, got hired, and that started my direction. I started out in hydraulic hammers and demolition tools and that type of thing, and fast track from there. I've worked for a couple demolition companies, and then came across LeBounty.
Okay.
And LeBounty hired me, and didn't know anything about shears, right? They hired me because they had acquired a hammer division.
Yeah.
And so I said, they knew me for hammers, so and they're like, you could do the shear stuff, right? Anyways, after 13 years at LeBounty selling mobile shears and cutting my teeth on just going around and calling on scrap guys and getting them to be your friends and just involved in their business, that's how that was my initial thing into getting into scrap and everything.
You worked together at
No.
LeBounty, or that was after you were already gone?
Yeah.
He's my
Okay.
arch nemesis
Yeah,
for all those
I
years.
love it. Yes, I love it.
That's one cool thing too, man, is that there's a lot of people here that are competitors.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with good competition. That doesn't mean that Sal or I don't really like and respect, our competitors.
100%. Yeah.
I mean,
Even
but
whether it's on
we
the
compete on the
equipment
field.
side or the yard side, I mean, we got a lot of people that we compete with daily, but if we saw them here, and then we're not talking about anything other than we're not talking about the customer, we're not talking about, we said, hey, let's go get a beer.
Right.
Like, even though you get back and it's like, here we go.
You're banging heads.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
we're gonna go battle.
And that's basically,
that's how it should be.
Yeah.
Because like on the football field, you're going to do everything you can to win for your team.
100%.
But after the game, you can go have a drink with the guy on
I
the
want
other
to
table.
walk up and be like,
Exactly.
man, that was great.
Respect.
That was a game. Yeah.
Just respect.
Game recognizes game, right?
Yeah.
And I think so essentially that's probably what then eventually brought you guys back full circle.
Well, that's kind of funny. Like, we back and forth. He was working for this company, I'm working for that company, and we're always seeing each other on the field, if you want to say. And and then I don't know. I was always teasing him, because I was always an employee. I never ran a company. Or I always teasing, hey, when are you going to come work for me?
Yeah.
And I tell him that.
Yeah.
So one day I was working for a bank right after COVID. I lost my job after COVID, and I was doing financing for a bank, and I was going crazy.
Yeah.
And
Everybody wants back in the game. That's why they have those alumni football games. Because the guys still want to play. They're like, I'll put pads on right now and go. Like,
That's
you
what
might
he
blow
did.
a knee, but let's go.
He says, hey, you like it at the bank? I go, why are you asking? He goes, I have a position for you. I go, okay, when do I start? I didn't even ask. I didn't care what it was.
Yeah.
I just said,
You're like, all right, I'm back. I'm back. Yeah. I love it. So, I mean, a lot's been said, over the years. I mean, about equipment, and so I went to dinner with this guy last night, and he asked me this question. He goes, Brett, what's the best way there's up and comers in this industry, and so I'm glad I have two equipment guys. So, what's the best way to help up and comers in this industry know who's producing quality equipment and who's producing shit? Should we just have a show and we just talk about people that produce shit equipment? And I was like, I go, I don't know. I don't know that I think that's the best way to
do that.
I said, but what we can do, I said, I believe in more like the power of like positivity. I said, why don't we just spotlight people that are doing really good jobs, and then hopefully people like they get more brand recognition, and then it'll help the cause, versus just like sitting around trashing somebody's stuff. And he goes, that makes sense, and he said it in an honest way. He's like, I bought some really good equipment that I would really recommend, and then I bought some shit that's just shit. And I was like, well, let's just talk about the good stuff, and then let the chips. Eventually, the market figures it out, right?
Exactly.
And I think so. From an equipment guy, it's like, when you guys think about it, what separates? Because I know what it is in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
What separates good equipment from shit?
Well, I can say what I think.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm no different than a lot of people in this room. I love a good deal.
Okay.
But the fact of the matter is, for quality, you got to pay.
Yeah.
You got to pay. There's no such thing as a steal, as far as a super value, whatever the case might be. But I'll just tell you the way I find out what I want for a car, or, whatever it is. I ask other people that I know that use the same equipment, right? That's really the value in ISRI. One of the big values is that people are connected. If you're doing a good job, all you got to do is build something good. If something breaks, take care of it. Do what you said you're going to do. Word will get around.
Yeah.
The cream will rise to the top. And once you have that reputation, then you become a serious player and have good market share. The chaff will get separated from the wheat.
Yeah.
It will. You just don't want to get caught in that trap of, that's 20% less than, all the other stuff. Well, there's a reason, dude.
Yeah.
Right? There's no such thing as that super special deal. Yeah, you have to pay for quality. It'll last longer. You'll remember the quality.
It's like a pay me now or pay me later type of deal, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And you've probably had that experience. I have.
Because
I love to get a deal,
one that really sticks in me. That I've done really good to just all right, but
you got burned a little.
Yeah, but I learned a lot.
Yeah.
I learned what that tastes like and what that feels like, and so I try. And that's one of the reasons why I spend so much time, like even on the scrap sell side. I like to highlight people I'm doing business with because they've taken care of me, right? So it's like maybe one more person reaches out to them or whatever the case may be, but it's like, hey, those guys bought 3 loads of stainless from me.
Yeah.
They paid their bills, no downgrades, everything was right. Like it kind of like if you're looking for another buyer, go talk to them, right? It's like my way of saying thanks for doing me a solid, doing me a good job.
And that's the way I see it, just exactly what you said too, capitalizing on what Bruce said, is that you got product A, but what's behind it?
Yeah.
Are you being serviced? When you do have a problem, are you being supported?
Yeah.
The guy or the gal that you're working with, are they communicating with you on your level? Do they understand your problems?
Yeah.
If you have that, you can't really put a dollar value on that, and that's, I think,
much
where
of it comes down to people,
premium,
right?
Yep, comes down to people.
It goes back to having good quality people that actually care about servicing the customer and not just what's the next sale, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you might have, I tell this people all the time, like you might have a customer that only buys one X grapple shear
every 10 years or whatever.
From 10 years. Yeah. But that guy probably, but he's a super social guy or gal, and he knows everybody.
Yeah.
You fuck that guy.
Yeah.
I promise you this, like you only bought one from you, so you don't think much of him. Right. You don't take good care of him. You lost more sales because that guy didn't get taken care of than you would have gained if you just would have taken care of that little fish.
Yeah.
And maybe he grows to be a big fish someday, which is great, even better. But more importantly, like that one guy could have made you 100 sales too, because he told everybody how well you took care of him with his one shear.
And that philosophy goes throughout, business. So like one of the jobs that Bruce put upon me is dealership development. I talk to the guys in our region to develop dealerships. I go, if you develop the dealerships, then you have more soldiers out there telling your story. Well, the biggest soldier telling your story is your customer.
Yeah.
If you develop those customers, they're out there telling the story with a megaphone.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's where I say marketing's important because it speeds it up, right? If you got shit, it's going to speed it up. People are going to figure it out real quick. You got shit.
Yeah.
If you're good, it speeds it up, and people are going to learn that it's good. But all it does is just speed up the mechanism. Right? If you're making good stuff, if you're taking care of your customers, the marketing's got the power to speed that up and get you more awareness. If it's crap, it's just going to speed it up.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're going to figure it out quicker.
So there's two things that are really that I've learned over a long time of doing this stuff, and one is, the most loyal and best customers are the ones I sold something to and they had a problem and I took care of it.
Yeah.
Outside of the lines. That's the best marketing money. I don't view warranty or fixing stuff out of warranty. as a warranty cost. I view it as great marketing dollars spent.
Yes.
And the other thing I say is that
That's a good point.
I'm
That's a
talking
really
with
good
you,
point.
and
Yeah.
you make a decision you're going to buy something from me. You know what you just did? You gave me your trust.
Yep.
There's not really a greater gift that one guy can give to another or a woman can give to whatever, is saying, I trust you, I'm going to give you my money.
100%.
Well, you have to honor that. And if you don't, well, you're going to be out of business. And if you do, you're going to tell other people.
And it goes back to Ford, Chevy, Dodge. I mean, at the end of the day, like, as technology changes and it's a neck and neck race. Like, you know, every year somebody, you know, moves ahead. It's like a horse race, right? That just kind of sits there and does that. But I think who really, really wins is the people that have the best service and parts departments.
Right
and when I'm talking specifically to equipment, because they understand that maybe somebody got this new technology thing, a better blade, a better this, you know, a slightly faster cylinder.
Right.
But it doesn't. None of that really matters if your stuff's not getting taken care of.
Yeah.
And even the pricing point isn't as crucial as people often think it is.
Right.
Like even the scrap, right? I mean, people sell us, they sell a lot of other people at less price because their bins are getting swapped out, their stuff's getting turned because the service matters, right? It's like we'll take less money because we're running our business more efficiently. Well, if we have less downtime and because we got a better service department, all of a sudden, like that price
value.
of equipment isn't nearly as you get. You obviously get what you pay for, but it's not nearly as crucial as it once was.
It has value to know that you have the comfort of if something goes down, this company's going to take care of me. Well, you have enough stress and load. You know, scrap is a complex damn business, right?
Yes.
You got enough stuff going on versus, you know, trying to having to fight over get something fixed. So you have somebody you trust that's going to take care of you. That's where you're going to go.
Yeah.
You don't have time to mess with it.
100%.
You know, the $5 or $10 grand doesn't really matter compared with that. And I think the really great operators understand that, and that's why they have long-term relationships. So, you know, and I use that equation all the time. People ask me what kind of shear, what's kind of excavator. I'm like, I don't know. You know, like Chevys, Ford, or Dodges, man, because there's no magic here. There's no some new miracle thing coming.
No.
There might be a little technology up, you know, but what it matters is the relationship, and do I trust what's behind that they're going to be there.
We say it all the time. People buy from people they like.
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly right.
if they like you, they'll do business with you, right? You know, and I think if I like you, I'll listen to you. If I trust you, I'll do business with you.
Yeah,
but
right.
I need both.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
if you're going to get the money, then you got to have like and the trust.
Yeah.
That's
And
what I
think-
always say. I
think
sure
that's
wish more people like Sal.
You sell more stuff
I'm
that
still
way.
working on it. Still working on it.
No, Sal's been a great friend, and Sal does never tell anybody, but he's an ME in engineering, he's an MBA, he's a smart guy, but a likable guy, and well known in the industry. So I'm very proud
Well,
and
if you
thankful
go from
that
selling
he's
equipment
our
to being a
VP of
banker,
sales.
if you can go from equipment to being a bank and in finance where people trust you, then all of a sudden, like, you know, I think then come back, like there's a reason for that, right? You trust him, other people trust him, you see value there.
Well,
and,
bluntly, I think for both of us, I missed the trust relationship that I had with people in this room.
Yeah.
I went to a different industry. I didn't have that. I was nobody. I was nothing. Here, like, I know all kinds of people, or we know each other. That's a good feeling, man. It's like what you said. You're in the tribe.
Yeah.
You're in the group, and that's a cool feeling.
It is. And I think that's if I was to promote Isery, I would hang my hat on that more than I'd hang my hat on some of the other things. I'd just be like, hey, like, you're part of the fraternity, right?
Yeah.
And this is what it is. And it's maybe it's more of a, you know, like, I never was in a fraternity in college. I played football, so guys I know, I come back and I get to see them. And I mean, I hired one of my best friends that I played college football with, so I get to see him every day. But it's one of those things, like, once you're part of that fraternity and you've pledged, you had to go through those days where you didn't know anybody, and they get to build the trust and get waterboarded or whatever, whatever you did in the fraternity, and then they finally let you in because
and that's so true. That's so true. Like, you know, anymore, you know, the team that Bruce put together here, he says, you know, we're old guys, but we've got a lot of time in. some of the other industries or jobs that I had leading up to being in the scrap business, I never had anybody come up to me and say, "Hey, Sal, call this guy. I think he's looking to buy what you're selling," with the exception of here.
Yeah.
I mean, I have guys doing that, and I reciprocate. Hey, somebody's asking me about something that I can't really have a solution for, but I do know so-and-so who does. Give them a call.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm giving my name out because I'm trusting that guy that I'm sending you to. So it's a big circle, and I love it. I love it.
So at the end of the day, SAS Forks is more than forks, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, we run some of your sets as forks, right? We have auto salvages, and one of my business partners that was just standing up over here, he bought another set of the long forks, and I mean, you guys have always been known for making good stuff, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we have one of just the Scorpion auto pullers. I mean,
Sure.
Oh, nice.
so we've run that. And
All right.
we've had that
thanks for the business.
Yeah,
for a lot of
absolutely.
years. So the reason I bring that up is because my favorite podcasts are people I do business with, right? I have done business with, because there's a genuineness to it of like, you know, you're not just sitting here trying to promote your shit to me.
Right,
Like, we've
right.
already done business. Like,
Right.
you've got the business. So if you guys are interested in some of the other stuff, then look them up. I mean,
Yeah,
you guys
cool.
are here because people trust what you're selling.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
don't sell them shit.
Right.
Right.
No.
No, I'm too old now to have people get pissed off at me.
Yeah, exactly,
right?
yeah.
So it has to be good stuff. But I got to ask you a question. You remember? This is your football guy.
Uh-huh.
Remember Dennis Erickson? He was at University of Miami.
Yeah, he went to
What
Oregon
did he-
State back in the day, yeah.
Okay, and then I thought
Seattle.
he was at Utah State or somewhere. But
yeah, in Seattle, yeah.
I thought he was at Utah or Utah State because, funny story, I'm in Fontana.
Uh-huh.
I'm at one of the Adams places, George's places. And I'm staying at this hotel. I sit at the bar. There's a guy sitting by me. I'm like, I think I know this guy. It's Dennis Erickson.
Yeah.
It was one of the most fun nights of my life. All the stories, man.
Yeah,
All the
they're
crazy
true.
stuff.
Yeah.
Super fun. Yeah. Just bizarre, sidebar.
Yeah.
But you never know where a scrap yard appointment's going to lead you.
No,
That led me to
you
Dennis
never
Erickson.
know.
Yeah.
That's the beautiful thing about our
Yeah.
business, man. I'll end on this. What I love about this fraternity is you do have the big dogs. You've got
Right.
the behemoths of the industry,
Yeah.
but you've got a ton of just real entrepreneurs here. I
You
mean,
got a lot of self-made people.
a lot
here.
of self-made people,
They-
a lot
they
of
know what it-
multi-generational people,
Yeah.
but a lot of just people that are just the grittiest of the grit, that just know how to
Yeah.
get shit done, and that's
Yeah.
why I
Wake
think
up every day and
that's
I want
why
to be a
this is-
winner and let's go.
That's why this
Yeah.
industry's great, man.
Yeah,
So
right on.
you guys are a big part of that fraternity, and I appreciate you guys
Thank
sitting
you.
down and
Oh,
taking
Thanks
the
for
having
the
us.
time. Really
It's awesome.
appreciate it.
Thank you, Bruce.
Thanks, Brett.
Thanks, Brett.
Sal.
All right,
Yeah,
brother.
I appreciate you
Yeah.
guys, man. Yeah,
All right.
take care.